You ever wonder why we struggle so much? Why a nation with thousands of years of glorious history, a civilization that gave so much to the world, gets tangled up in systems that just feel broken? We're told our problems, the corruption, the delays, the apathy, that it's just part of our culture. Well, today we're going to tear that idea apart, because that is the single greatest lie ever told about modern India. Let's get into it. You know this feeling? You know it in your bones, that frustration, standing in a line for hours for a simple signature, a file that just won't move, an official who looks right through you. We live with this every single day, and the easy answer, the one we're always fed, is this is just how we are. But what if it's not a flaw in our character? What if it's a flaw in the design of the system itself? So let's start right there. Let's dissect this lie, the one we've been telling ourselves for more than 75 years. It's an incredibly convenient excuse, isn't it? It lets the system off the hook and puts all the blame right back on us, the people. Sound familiar? Of course it does. Oh, our people just don't follow rules. You know, Indians, no discipline. We hear this stuff all the time. It's almost a national pastime to blame ourselves. But here's the thing, it's a lazy diagnosis. History proves that the very same people, our ancestors, thrived under systems that were ethical and super efficient. So if it's not the people, then what is it? Well, the real problem isn't in our DNA. It's in the blueprints of our administration. It's a ghost. A ghost in the machine of our government. A ghost we inherited way back in 1947, put some new clothes on, and then pretended was one of our own. And this slide, this shows you the fundamental clash. The core conflict. In India's native tradition, our Dharma, power was seen as a sacred duty, a responsibility to the people you serve. But the colonial system we inherited, it had a totally different purpose. For them, power was just a tool for control, for extraction, to keep the masses at arm's length. One system is built on trust, the other on suspicion. They're like oil and water. And this right here is the key. When the British left, we celebrated our freedom, and rightly so. But we made a huge mistake, a monumental one. We changed the faces in the government offices, but we kept their rule book. We kept the colonial framework, the colonial laws, and worst of all, the colonial mindset. We kept the operating system that was designed to rule us, not to serve us. But what if there was another way? A blueprint designed by an Indian for Indians. Centuries before the British even dreamed of ruling us, a visionary king gave us exactly that. It's time to talk about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's Ashtapradhan, the 8 jewels of his council. Now, the Ashtapradhan wasn't just some administrative committee. Oh no, it was a revolutionary concept. Its main goal wasn't just to be efficient. Any dictator can be efficient. Its real purpose was to decentralize power, to make sure that no single person, not even the king himself, could become an absolute tyrant. It was a system built to be bigger and better than any one individual. And just look at how brilliant this design is. You've got a prime minister, a finance minister, a foreign minister. This looks incredibly modern, doesn't it? But here's the masterstroke. Look closer. You have the Panditrao, whose job was moral and ethical oversight, and the Nyayadis for justice. Ethics and justice weren't just afterthoughts. They were hardwired into the very core of governance. This was the psychological genius behind it all. See, Shivaji Maharaj understood human nature perfectly. He knew that power corrupts, so he built a system with checks and balances that basically assumed people would make mistakes. The whole point was to create a framework so strong, so robust, that it would function ethically no matter who was sitting in the chair. Okay, so now let's put these two systems head to head. Shivaji's indigenous blueprint versus the colonial model we're still stuck with. This is where all our modern-day frustration becomes crystal clear. First up, what's the goal? Shivaji's system was designed for Swaraja, self-rule. That means service to the people is the goal. The colonial system? It was designed for control, for extraction. One system asks, how can we serve our people? The other asks, how can we command their obedience? The very DNA is completely different. And who are you accountable to? In Shivaji model, everyone was ultimately accountable to the people and their welfare. In the colonial model, an official was accountable only to his boss, who was accountable to his boss, all the way up the chain to London. Sound familiar? That's exactly why today an official often cares more about keeping their superior happy than solving your problem. This really hits home, doesn't it? In an indigenous system, you are a stakeholder, a partner in the nation. In the colonial system,
You are a subject, you're a statistic, you're a file number that needs to be processed. This is the difference between being treated with dignity and being treated like you don't matter.
And finally, the structure of power itself. Shivaji deliberately broke up power and spread it out among his 8 ministers. The colonial model did the exact opposite. It concentrated a massive amount of power in the hands of a few people, creating the very bottlenecks and opportunities for corruption that drive us crazy today. It's a design we are still living with.
So the history is clear. The comparison is stark. The Ashtapradhan isn't just a dusty chapter in a history book. It's a mirror held up to modern India. And when we look in that mirror, it asks us some very tough, very direct questions.
And the first question is about control. The colonial system taught our administrators to hoard power at the top. Shivaji's system teaches us to trust our own people and distribute that power. So, are we brave enough to finally let go of that centralized control? The second question, well, this one is about our soul. For the British, morality was a private matter. It had nothing to do with administration. For Shivaji, it was everything. It was the foundation. Do we have the courage to demand that our systems be not just efficient, but fundamentally ethical?
And this is the final, most important question of all. Do we have the courage to stop thinking of ourselves as subjects who are ruled and start acting like the citizens who are the true masters of this nation? Because decolonization isn't just about changing flags and statues. It's about changing our minds.
So here's the takeaway. It's simple and it's powerful. Our daily frustrations with the system are not because of a flaw in our culture. They're because of a flaw in the colonial code we're still running. We are not the problem. The ghost in the machine is. And the best news? We don't need to look for a solution from somewhere else. We have our own indigenous, time-tested blueprint for success, a design for ethical, decentralized, people-first governance. It's right there in our own history. The blueprint exists. The only question left is whether we have the courage to use it. The choice is ours.